Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. Today we're going to be talking about flipping and exactly how you should go about it, and I'm just going to give you some tips today and show you some real case scenarios that I've actually done to help you get a better idea for your flips. Now, this is not going to be a step-by-step tutorial on how to actually flip and how to use different websites and stuff to find them. I've actually already done a video on that, which will be in the description. Also, I've already done a certain video for actual pet flipping, which is just more specific. So those type of full-on tutorial videos are going to be in the description if you're looking for those. So this video is just going to be a little bit of a follow-up, and so I'm just going to show you some real-world scenarios of the flips that I am currently doing or I have completed in the past, and we're just going to go through different topics. So I'm going to discuss some transmog, some materials, some pet flips, some potential flips that have either failed or currently outgoing, like I have not sold the actual item yet, and I'm also going to show you some seasonal / holiday flips that I've done. Now, of course, not everything's going to work on your server, but hopefully this is going to give you a little bit of idea on how I actually go about flipping and how you can too. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll get right into it. Alright, so the first flip we're going to be talking about are material flips. Now, I believe these are probably one of the most easiest type of flips to do since it's so relevant and there's a lot of opportunities for these flips. For example, transmog pieces, somebody has to post it low, stuff like that, and there's not many super good transmog pieces that sell really fast. However, with materials, lots of people dump materials and there's a lot of different items and potential flips. So the first one we're going to be going over is Serenite ore. Now this one is actually an outgoing flip. I did this very recently. As you can see, about 4 days ago, I purchased a ton of Serenite ore. Let me open up TSM and I can show you. As you can see, we purchased about 3,480-ish ore. Of course, that's not the exact number, but that's how much we purchased right here, as you can see, and we bought it for a total of about 80,000 gold. Now, the reason I did this is, as you can see, the per item cost is about 23 gold. So just remember that 23 gold number, and we're going to pull up the actual auction house, and we're going to look up Serenite. Now, as you can see, the Serenite ore is actually kind of at that same price. So if I had gold on this character, I would probably buy out this 100. However, I don't have gold, so I'll be doing that later. But what we're looking at is the Serenite bar. Now, what you should know with these old world ores is the conversion rate. For example, cobalt is a 1-to-1, so 1 ore equals 1 bar. But Serenite is a 2-to-1, so you need 2 ore to create 1 bar. So as you can see, I purchased these all for 23 gold. And I know that with 23 gold, it's going to cost about 46 gold for 1 bar. So as long as I sell these bars for over 46 gold, or let's say 50 gold because there's auction house cuts, then I can make some profit. So looking back at the Serenite bar, my market value is about 70 gold, which is a large number compared to that 46. Now, as you can see, somebody actually posted 100 at 50, so they kind of crashed the market a bit, but at this stance, I would either buy this out myself, or I will just post my items right here at the 70 mark, which I actually have done. About 400 of those bars are mine, and I'm just waiting for this 50 to sell. The reason why I am not stressed about this 50 right here is because that is still under the market value. It's not like my market value is 50 gold and I'm trying to sell it for above to 70. The actual market value is about 70 gold. So I know eventually it's going to go back up and I'm not very stressed about it. So keeping that in mind, with the amount of ore that we have with a 3,480 ore, that equals about 1,741 bars. Just dividing it by 2, that's how many bars we're going to get. So I have actually already sold some Serenite, so we're going to go into our revenue. And as you can see, about 20 hours ago, I was able to sell a stack of 400 for 65 gold apiece. So this was just a recent auction that showed up, but I actually sold 400 of them for about 65 gold. And that gave me a total of about 26k, and I only sold 400, and I have 26k out of the 80k that I've spent. So I'm still in the red, however, that's pretty good, and you know, it looks like I'm going to have some profit. So with that being said, if we just want to do some potential profit math, we already know that we have about 1,700 bars that we are able to craft with the amount of ore that we crafted. And if we sell those bars at 65 gold a piece, that is 113,000 gold. Now, of course, we have our initial cost of about 80k, so that brings us in about 33,000 gold profit. So if I am able to sell all these bars / ore, because I'm converting them into bars, and I sell them at the 65 gold mark, I'll make about 33,000 gold. Now, of course, if it dips below and it sells at 60, I'll make a little bit less. Or if it goes back up and it goes to 70 or even 80 gold, then I'll be making a lot more. So, of course, it's only based on that about 65 gold number. However, that's very, very nice. And potentially with this flip, I'm going to see about 33k. Now, as you can see, I actually bought those ores 4 days ago, and I got my first sale about 20 hours ago. So it took me a few days to actually get a sale, and so it's probably going to take me a few days to actually sell everything. However, all I have to do is buy it once. I have to craft these into bars and then just sell them, and they'll sell slowly. However, it just slowly brings in the income until we hit the green and we can make some profit. So these are what I would do with material flips. Now, every day I look at all the old world materials. So I look at Serenite, and that's how I found this flip. Now, I'm actually going to go and buy this 100 because that's still profit. I would not buy that 32. However, that's some money right there with that ore, so I would go and buy that. I just don't have gold right now. But then I would look at cobalt. And as you can see, there's actually one piece of ore posted at 9 gold, so I would just buy that up right now. Now, like I said before, cobalt has a 1-to-1 ratio, so 1 ore equals 1 bar. So buying that at 9 gold, I'm going to resell that bar for 68 gold, and right there I made about 60 gold. Now, of course, I probably made about 55 gold with auction house cuts and everything like that, but just checking and double checking, I was able to make about 55 gold for literally seconds of work. Now, I would not actually do any more with this flip because, as you can see, there's only about a 6 gold difference, and so that's just not worth for flipping at all. So I move on to the next, which is fell iron. Moving on to fell iron, as you can see, the ore is going for about 30 while the bar is going for about 75. Now, personally, I would leave this alone because I know on my realm the bar fluctuates a lot, and I know it says there's a market value of about 96. However, it crashes a lot, and I'm just not a big fan of fell iron ore. However, if this ore was placed at like 25 gold or 20 gold, I would definitely buy it because there's a large enough profit margin. Now, if this case is on your server, you know your server better than mine, and maybe I will actually purchase some of this ore. Now, you can see it's only about 39 ore, so you're only going to make about 15 bars to sell. However, there's plenty of profit in there and everything like that. So definitely looking at these type of old worlds, technically I can make about probably a 10 gold profit on each bar that I sell. However, I kind of leave fell iron alone on my server, but it's perfectly fine with you as long as you just know your market. And if you don't know your market, don't be scared to test it. Trust me, I've gotten so many insane flips, but I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll spend 5k. Whatever happens, happens, and then I end up having like 100k in profit. So definitely testing the market. If you have not done it yourself, you can definitely find some profit with that. But that is basically it, guys. Obsidian ore is also another example. As you can see, the obsidian ore is also a pretty good profit margin. If I had gold, I would probably buy this all up. That would put my bar price at about 46 gold or 48 gold, and the bars go for about 80 gold on my server. So that's a 30-ish gold profit, which is really nice. However, once again, I just do not have gold on this server, or on this character, which is why I'm not buying it actively. But that is something that I would pick up, and I would sell the bars. But yeah, guys, that is how I do materials. Now, this is just for ore. However, you can do the same thing with herbs. If you see an herb that's at 7 gold and the market value is about 15 gold, then you can buy it up, reset it at that 15 gold mark, and it will sell. Now, I will say a lot of people are worried about market crashes, and a lot of people are worried if they do buy that 7 gold herb, bring it up to 15 gold, and then somebody's just going to come along and post it at 7 again. The reason why I say do not worry about that is because, yes, it's going to happen sometimes, but you can't really do anything about it, whether you can wait for it to sell, because somebody else is going to come along and need that herb, and let's say they only post like 5, or let's say they post 200 herbs, and that person needs 400. yours still in that market value range, so they're not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to buy that for 15, that's way overpriced. So you're still going to get sales, and of course, if somebody comes around and does post, let's say 10 herbs at 7 gold, just buy it up. That's 10 more that you could resell at 15. Now, of course, depending on the herb, depending on the market, you will have to think a little bit differently. However, it really just comes with experience. A lot of people are scared to get into flipping. I was terrified to get into flipping, but it's just one of those things that you have to just try and then just fail at and then succeed. I have so many fails, which I'll show you in just a second, but this is just the basics of material flipping. And now we are going to move on to some pets. Alright, moving on to pets. Pets are a very unique market, and they have so much potential. The reason for this is you can do it cross-realm. Now, traditionally, if you want to move gold, or you want to move items to a different realm, then you have to go and you have to purchase a character transfer, or a guild transfer, and then you have to wait for a few hours for it to get processed, everything like that. But with pets, they are cross-realm. The reason is because you have a collections journal. An example of this is that if I go over to Thrall and I buy a pet or I collect a pet whenever I'm questing and I put it inside of my pet journal by just learning it, then I can go and log on to a different character on my main realm, let's say, and then I will see it in here. This makes it so easy to basically just transfer gold across realms. Also, all realms have different markets, and that is what I take advantage of. Currently, I flip pets on about 4 servers. Now, those 4 servers are my main realm, which is about a medium pop, and then 3 of them are all basically full pops. The reason for this is that at the end of the day, I want all of my gold on my main server, so I make sure that my main server has the most expensive pets. That is just the reason for this. Now, if you are on a full pop server, you can take advantage of this and send all of your cheap pets over to a low pop server or a medium pop server, get some really big ticket sales, then turn that into Blizz balance, turn that into game time, who knows what, and that's just a lot of potential gold. So that is just the way I do it, but it's not the way that you have to do it. Now, also, with the pet flipping across realms, it's a really just a play on market value. For example, on a high pop realm, there's a lot of buyers, there's a lot of people playing, so a rarer type pet has more chance of it being pretty low priced. For example, I can buy a pet for about 30k with a market value about 50k on a high pop server at certain times of the day because there's just a lot of competition. And so I can send that same 30k pet that I just bought over there, send it to my main realm where there's a lot less competition, and I can post it at the 50k market value. And in a few days, in a few weeks, it will sell, and that's just easy 20 gold profit, and that's just cross-realm flipping. Now, I do have a video, like I said at the beginning, and a spreadsheet of how to actually do this. So if you do want to look in depth into pet flipping, be sure to check that out. But I'm just going to show you some basic flips and everything like that. Now, so looking at this character, I started posting on this character in about March 2nd of 2021. And we are up to date, and we have made about 422,000 gold. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot of dips in this graph. And that is the reason of whenever I do have an investment, I'll invest slightly, I'll invest a little bit, and then I will send it back to another realm where then it will sell, and I use that gold realm to come back with more pets over here. So there's not a lot of strictly investment on this one character. It's a lot of cross-realm stuff, so my actual graph does not show that. However, as you can see, in about 3 to 4 months, I have made about 400k, and this is just a side thing that I do. Now, if we do want to look at pet sales, as you can see, my first sale was about 100 days ago, so a few months ago, up till 8 hours ago, where we sold some pets as well. Now, sadly, I cannot show you the actual profit because a lot of this is cross-realm stuff, like I said. However, I can point out a few flips that I know of, and we can actually look at the data later whenever I move to our other realms. One sale that I remember vividly being very, very good was this Drudge Ghoul. Now, I believe I bought this on another server for about 8k. There'll be a picture of it on screen wherever I find that data, but I believe I bought this for about 8k, and within a day, it sold on my main realm for about 42,000. Now, the 42,000 is not the crazy number, because as you can see, the region average is about 38,000. However, the crazy number is that I found it on another realm for about 8,000. Even if it was a high pop, even if it was a full pop, 8,000 is very, very low for this pet. And The reason why I want to bring this up is because of the potential you have on multiple realms. For example, that was just somebody who posted the pet. They probably didn't know its value, or if they did, they just wanted to get rid of it. And if I was not on that other server checking, then I would have never gotten this deal and I would have never made this profit. So getting on multiple different realms is very, very important due to the fact that you will just find those extra items that you can flip and get in the extra gold. Another thing is the bronze whelpling. Now, at the time of whenever I purchased this, about 50 days ago, there were a ton of bronze whelplings on Thrall NA. There was a ton of them, and they were going for like 7k each, and it was like 15 of them. I think some type of farmer was just dropping them, and so I bought up about 5 of them for 7 gold each. After that day, I sent all of the bronze whelplings over to my other 3 servers, one of them being my main one right here, and I was able to sell it for 26k. Now, right now, that region market value is crazy. As you can see, I actually just sold another bronze whelpling for 7k. So clearly the market price has gone down ever since then, but whenever we did purchase those at 7k, I was able to bring it back for about 26k, and that was a crazy, crazy flip as well. A lot of these were just very big flips where I just bought it on a different realm, sent it over, and I was able to make some good profit. Another example of this is the little siege tower. Now, this is actually a realm flip that I did on my own server. As you can see, I have actually purchased 2 of these items on my actual realm for anywhere between 10 to 15,000 gold. Now, it says that I did buy one 60 days ago. However, that is because I bought one initially 100 days ago, and that's the one I'm talking about. As you can see, I bought that one for about 10,000 gold, and I just resold it straight on my server for about 19,000 gold, and it took about 7 days. It took about a week to sell. However, that was just 9k easy profit, and all I had to do was wait. This one right here, I sent over to another server, which is why you don't see one on this realm anymore. However, right here, that was just an easy on one server flip that I have done, and that is just because I saw this thing really cheap. If you do want to look, as you can see, the market value is actually up right now. It's actually about 29k. However, at the time, I think it was about the 20k mark. So buying this for, half the market value, and I resold it for market value is very good. So that's the type of flips that you're looking for pets. Now, of course, it's better if you can do this cross-realm, but it's really easy just to do, have side income on your main server. You just need to have a little bit of gold to invest. Now, we're going to go over to some potential flips, and then lastly, we're going to be talking about some holiday and other stuff like that. All right, moving to some potential flips that I have done is actually BFA mounts. Now, if you're not sure of what they are, there is the Blood Feaster, there is the Captured Rune Scavenger, there are the 2 horse mounts, I think the Golden Mane, the Gold Mane, whatever it's called, I don't exactly know off the top of my head, but those BFA mounts, ever since BFA has stopped, a lot of bots, a lot of farmers have stopped doing those actual farms. So whenever Shadowlands came out, a ton of people stopped doing those farms, so the actual quantity has dropped, and slowly the prices have risen. Now, because of that, I took the dive of actually purchasing 6 of these for about 60k, because as you can see, the region average sale is about 200k, and my market value should be about 100k. Now, I bought this thinking there was a few on the auction house, kind of like this right here. There was about 6 on the auction house, and then there were 2 very highly priced, so I thought, okay, if I just buy out this person, then I can just start reselling and make some profit. Now, the issue is that the person that I bought has a ton more stock. As you can see, I purchased these 6 Dune Scavengers about 60 days ago, so about 2 months ago, and somebody is still posting. Now, this is actually the same person who has been posting these, and they always post 6. So I'm not exactly sure if they have a guild bank full, 2 guild banks full. We just don't know, and that's the issue with flips. Sometimes that happens where somebody only has a few of their stock posted, and so they just come back with more and more stock, which has basically happened with this. So I bought 6 of them. I bought off the auction house thinking that, okay, somebody was just trying to get rid of their 6 and then I can post these and I can make double my gold. However, this person just keeps coming back and posting 6 and posting 6 and posting 6. I see these go down to 4. I see these go down to 2 as people buy them, and eventually the next morning they're back up to 6. So I don't exactly know when this guy's stock is going to end, but I am not panic selling. Worst thing that happens is that I hold it for a few years, and in a few years it's worth 200k, and this guy has run out of stock, and then I'm perfectly set to go. Of course, if I ever really need gold, I can sell this back at the price that I purchased. So nothing is crazy insane of lost gold or anything like that. But right now, I'm pretty good. I do not really need the extra gold, so I'm just holding on to them. So this is going to be a potentially good flip. A ton of people have already done this flip and have made a killing on their server. However, I just have one of those servers where somebody has a stockpile, so I just kind of have to wait. So this was a deal that looked really good. However, somebody has a stockpile, and so right now it's just kind of a potential, and I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go. So the next potential flip that I am currently trying to do is actually the black velvet robes. Now I purchased this about 60 days ago for about 1,000 gold, and the reason why I purchased this is because it was a BOE rare vanilla drop that looks pretty cool. As you can see, it's just a classic black robe, and it has a pretty good market value as well as sell rate. The sell rate is a 0.02, which is a very good side for Transmog, and the market value is about 15 to 25k. So buying this at 1k, I can definitely find my profit. Now, as you can see, I have not yet to sell it. However, I'm still working on it. I'm just posting it every single day, and eventually, hopefully, it will sell for either 15k or 25k. Either way, I'll make 13 or 23,000 gold profit, depending on when it sells and how much for. But that is the reason why I picked this one up. I found this actually on the Undermine journal, but that is also a potential flip that I am looking at. Alright, so moving on to holiday flips and kind of seasonal flips, I have 4 items to show off. The first one is just seasonal items that comes from holiday events, specifically the Christmas event. Now, what you can buy at Christmas is wrapping paper. Now, this seems insane, but I actually purchased a ton of wrapping paper from the vendor in order to sell in the auction house. Now, as you can see, I have about 110 of each. However, I have yet to sell this actual purple one, but I have able to sell this blue ribbon wrapping paper for 5,000 gold. Now, I sold that about 50 days ago, and I think I purchased this wrapping paper probably 2 years ago, like not last Christmas, but the Christmas before then, like 2019 Christmas is when I'm pretty sure I actually purchased this wrapping paper. So only within that time, I have sold 1 wrapping paper for 5,000 gold. However, you know, significant others, people in this game want to do something nice, whether that's for a birthday, whether that's just something festive, role-playing, you never know. People want this wrapping paper, and surprisingly, they will pay a good amount for it. Even the market value is at 16k right now on my server, which is insane, but even selling this at 500 gold a piece, like the region market value is, you can make a ton of gold. I'm pretty sure I purchased this wrapping paper for silver at the vendor. Like, it was nothing at all, and the fact that I probably made so much profit just selling 1 piece, and I still have over 200 left to sell. So this is definitely a very slow seller. This is something that's kind of silly. However, people buy it. I mean, that's proof right there. About 51 days ago, somebody bought it. Somebody was in desperate need of some wrapping paper, but this is just something to look out for, any type of holiday items like this. Now, the other items I want to showcase is a few kind of random items that have surprisingly been some very good flippers. For example, the Nat Pagle's Guide to Extreme Angling. Now, this is just kind of one of those random items. You need it for quests, you need it for other things, and so I was actually able to make a lot of profit on this. I purchased a few. As you can see, I purchased about, this happened about a year ago, but I was able to purchase up 3 for about 500 gold a piece, and I was able to sell all of those back for about 2,000 gold a piece. Now, as you can see, I've actually bought 6 more at even lower prices. However, I've yet to sell them because, as you can see, the market value has gone down to about 600 gold. However, even buying these, the most expensive one I bought was at 300 gold, so I can even just double or even triple my money by just reselling them at that 600 gold mark. But these little items are definitely something to look after. Another good example of that is Lost Mail. Now, once again, this is just used for a quest, and as you can see, I've made about 17,000 gold just flipping Lost Mail. As you can see, I have purchased a lot of them. I have purchased about 11 of them, and as you can see, they're all anywhere between about 2,000 to 5,000 gold, and I have resold these for some crazy amounts. Right here, I sold them both back for 8,000. Then I've sold some for 7,000, and I've even sold some for 10,000. Now, as you can see, as the days go on, I have actually purchased some for a bit more gold because somebody was trying to crash it. I bought these for 2,000 gold. I posted them for 8,000. Somebody came along, posted them for about 5,000 gold. So I bought those up too because that's still profit. And then within a few days, I was able to sell 3 of them for 8,000 gold. So definitely looking at those, trying to buy and just make sure the market remains steady is very nice. Right now, there's actually selling for about 2,500 gold. So I'd probably buy those out, reset it back. As you can see, the market value for the region is about 18k. So just these little items that are for quest lines, stuff like that, is very good to have and for flipping. The last thing I want to mention is Brawler's Pass. Now, Brawler's Pass is like a seasonal item, so whenever BFA was ending, basically at the start of Shadowlands, there were no Brawlers Guild, so these passes kind of weren't really being used anymore, and some people were trying to get that quick Brawler's Pass to do their questline before it ended. This was kind of during like the pre-patch stuff, everything like that. So what I did is people were selling these. People were selling about 5 of these, all in the 500 gold region. So I bought them all out and I resold them for thousands. 2.8, 4.4, 2,000, 2,000, 6,000. The reason is people got more and more desperate as the closing date kind of ended, and that is why people were paying that premium because they just wanted to get it over with. As you can see, with only 5 items, I was able to make about 15,000 gold by just doing that simple task. So taking advantage of time, taking advantage of holidays is especially very, very good for flipping because people get desperate. People want to surprise somebody, people want to get an achievement, people want to get the mount before time ends, and so whenever time is at a crunch, they will pay premiums in order to make sure they do complete whatever they have to complete. Alright, now moving on, the last thing we're going to be talking about is Transmog, and I'm actually on the server that I would say is probably my most successful flip server. This is Velen NA. And currently, I only have about 156k. However, if you do want to look at my character, as you can see, I started this in about March of 2020, and I kind of took a break right here. This is when I stopped playing the game for a few months, and then starting September 2020 is when I got back into it. As you can see, there was a huge upclimb of sales. Then I bought a bunch of tokens, and I went back down to literally 0 gold, and ever since then, this was about January 2021, so at the beginning of this year, I have just been slowly growing back, and as you can see, I got an insane sale right here, and ever since then, I have been slowly growing. As you can see, I used to be up to about 230k, however, I just recently bought items, and that is why I am back down to about 150. But this server, I have gotten the most insane flips on, and so I'm going to show you exactly what they were, and just kind of how I went about it. So this shoulder piece right here is probably the best flip that I have ever gotten. Now I've showcased this in my other flip video, so if you guys have already probably seen this item, if you have actually watched that video. But as you can see, about 82 days ago, I purchased this item for 5,000 gold. I just saw it on the auction house using the Undermine journal, and I picked it up. The reason for that is because it has a pretty nice sell rate. I saw the region market value, and I thought it was insane. I was like, basically, I said to myself, well, it's 5k, worst comes to worst, I lose 5k, or if I can sell this for 200,000, then that is insane profit. So I picked it up, put it on the auction house, and literally within 15 hours, it sold for 145,000 gold. Within not even a day, with even half a day, I was able to make 140,000 gold profit by just taking a chance, really. Of course, I looked it up, and it was like, I knew it was from a certain raid, and there was Legion, so there was really some nice pieces, but ultimately, I just said to myself, whatever, if I lose 5,000 gold, I do, but worst comes to worst, I sell it for a lot of profit. So I made about 140k within a few hours of selling this, and that is probably the best flip that I have done to this date. But we are going to look at our resale. And as you can see, we have made a lot of profit. We've sold about 2,000 items, and we've made about a 256 gold profit. That's just because of random things that I've sold. However, what we're taking a look at is the Razor Fin and all of the Island Expedition gear. Now, Island Expedition gear was really big back in BFA because there was Island Expeditions and you could get BOE drops that looked pretty cool. Now, actually, one of my first videos on this channel was about Island Expedition gear, and I talked about flipping it, and I talked about how good it was going to be, and surprisingly, I was very, very right, and it has turned crazy. As you can see, this happened literally almost a year ago. I was picking up these pieces of gear for 500 gold a piece, buying them for 1,000, buying these for 1,000, and at the time, I was reselling them for a pretty good profit. I bought this 4,000 gold. 8 days later, I sold it for about 2,000 gold. So I doubled my money there. And that's kind of what happened with a lot of these pieces. Within a few weeks, I sold this piece for 5,000 gold and I bought it for 500. So that was very nice to see. And as you can see, that happened pretty often. It took, about 10 days, a few weeks, even a month to sell, but I was doubling, tripling my gold. However, something that I did not actually see coming, and it was a very nice surprise, is that whenever Shadowlands came out, island expeditions got very hard to do. The reason for this is because you have to have a group in order to do them. It is not something you can just go out and solo as many times as you want. So the demand was still there. However, the quantity, the people running these island expeditions dropped drastically, and the prices went crazy. As you can see, if you scroll up here, this piece, like I said, I bought it 250 days ago, almost a year ago, and 2 months ago, I sold the same piece for 88,000 gold, which is literally 88,000 gold profit. I bought it for 400, sold it for 88.4k. Now, the reason for this is, like I said, the quantity has dropped drastically because island expeditions are not happening. Now, if you guys do want to go out and try to do some of this stuff, keep in mind at 9.1, island expeditions are going to become solo queuable, which means if people are going to start going to go farm those for the mounts and stuff, these actual items are going to come back, and so the value is probably going to drop a bit. Now, is it going to drop back to 500 gold? Possibly, possibly not. Maybe it'll drop to 20k, maybe it'll drop to 5k, depending on how many people are doing them, but the flips right now are in pristine condition, basically. So if you have any sitting in your auction house, sitting in your banks, guild bank, if you accidentally have some, be sure to sell them off now before the drop happens. But like that being said, this was just an accidental flip that went crazy. For example, I bought this thinking I was going to resell it, for 5k, for 2k, for 10k at the most. However, I held on to it for almost 200 days, for almost a whole year, and I sold it for 88k. Now, of course, 88k in a year doesn't sound too great. However, if you keep in mind with all the other flips I've done, it really, really adds up. I mean, if we scroll down, as you can see, I bought these for about 500 gold a piece, and I sold them for 5k, I sold them for 7k. This piece right here, as you can see, I bought them, once again, for about 700 gold each, and I've sold 2 of them so far for about 19k and 18k, and I still have one on the auction house, so if that sells, that's even more profit. But that is literally, I bought these all for about, let's say, 2,000 gold, and I've already made over like 36k on just doing flips. Right here, I bought this for about 1.5k and I sold it for 10k. So just these transmog pieces that are very well known are very, very good to try to flip, and that is basically what I have done. Like I said, this sale right here, this is not an island expedition gear, this is actually a drop from a Legion raid, and I just took a chance and I was able to make over 100k. Now, one thing I will say is Hope Ender. Now, I bought this about 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, and I bought 2 of them. I bought them for 5k each, hoping I was going to make a lot of gold. Right now, as you can see, they go on this realm for about 60k. However, I got impatient because I posted these for about 50k whenever I bought them. However, slowly people started to put the price down, and as you can see, I sold both of these for about 10,000 gold 4 days later. Now, for me, I still made, I still doubled my money. I invested 10k and I got 20k out of it, so I did come out with profit. However, if I was not very greedy and I actually was patient, I would be posting these, at 60k right now, and hopefully maybe that would sell at 60k and I would have made a lot more gold. So this is definitely, it wasn't a failed flip, I would say, because I did make, I did double my money. However, if I did hold on to it and not get greedy and not just, go with the price push and buy them and try to sell them off very, very cheaply, I could have definitely made a lot more gold. But it is what it is at the end of the day, and it's completely okay. Now, if we do want to actually go into the auction house, there's plenty of things that I'm still trying to flip. As you can see, I have a ton of pets. Like I said before, I purchased this other legendary shoulder. As you can see, this is probably a very famous one. You've probably seen it around a lot. And I purchased this, I believe, for about 20k on this server, and I have still yet to sell it. And right now I'm trying to sell it for 140, which is very overpriced. However, if it sells, it sells. This one is what I recently purchased a few days ago. I purchased it for about 1,000 gold, and I'm trying to sell it for about 5,000. I've bought a ton of these plans. I bought a ton of these plans for about 2,000 gold, and I'm trying to sell them for about 30,000 for some profit, but I have still yet to sell one, but that is completely okay. This is that belt that I said that I had earlier. Right now I'm selling it for 100,000 gold. So if that sells, that is insane. But right here is a true test to how crazy this island expedition gear has gotten. This is all just the Razorfin gear that I just literally bought ages ago for 500 gold, and now they're selling for 20k plus. This helmet somebody's trying to sell for 500,000 gold. It's not even, I mean, it's a pretty cool looking set, but it's not anything super insane, and people are paying a premium for this because they want it, and there's just not a lot available on the auction house anymore. So that is kind of how I go about Transmog. If I know where it comes from, if I know it's hard to get, and if it looks pretty cool, that is basically what I judge. But yeah, guys, that is basically it. Hopefully this video is pretty long. However, I hope some of these explanations and some of these flips that you have seen me actually do personally can kind of help you with your gold making and with taking the chance of flips. A lot of people in my Discord have been talking about how they're a little bit scared to get into flipping because you just never know, and I completely understand. It takes some time. Now I just kind of know when certain things are right for my market. However, there are plenty of flips that I've shown you that I've not really gone to plan. For example, I never really know if that Dune Scavenger is ever going to sell. I don't know how many that dude has. Maybe he only has those 6 left. Maybe he has 100 left. Maybe he has 500 left. I really don't know. And so that's potentially a failed flip. I just really don't know, and that's just something that I took a chance for. Now, of course, many of you are probably going to take some chances, and sadly, some things are not going to come out the best. However, every time you fail, there's going to be 2 more times where you succeed. That's just the way that I think of it, and it's just the way that you kind of have to go into it. Think about it. Set aside 10,000 gold. Do it for a month. Spend that 10,000 gold. Make it 50,000 gold. Make it 100,000 gold, depending on how much gold you have. Worst comes to worst, you lose that gold, and you have to make it back. But best case scenario, you find a transmog piece for 5k, and it brings you back about 100k in profit. So definitely looking at flips, definitely getting into flipping is another way to make some insane money, and I just really recommend it for anybody. Take some chances, take some risks. That's how the millionaires do it, and hopefully this just helps you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to let me know if there's anything that you didn't like, if you didn't like any of these flips I did, or if you have any more suggestions with the flips, or just general video content. Feel free to let me know. Once again, make sure you check out my Twitch. I live stream 4 days a week. I'll be live streaming tonight at 8 p.m. when you see this video at June the 10th on Thursday, so definitely come check that out if you want to see it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.